Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, Steve Roy here, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you listening. I'm just coming off my birthday week. Last week, I recorded the show right before that, turned 50. It's a huge birthday for me. I know some of you guys, I would say the majority of guys that listen to this show are somewhere in their late 30s and 40s, and then there's a pretty small segment of guys that are 50 plus. But, you know, I shared this last week, but, you know, always in my mind, growing up, the cutoff between kind of young and old was 50. You know, I had really no issues with 40s, felt fine. So it's just a mental thing. I know, obviously, it's how you feel. It's just a number. It doesn't actually mean anything. I understand all that. But anyway, it's something I had to come to grips with. It's really struggled with. And as I shared last week, leading up to my show last week, my birthday even, I had a rough couple of months, quite a few months, actually. I wasn't podcasting. I wasn't doing a lot business-wise. Kind of stepped back from social and everything else. And it was a lot of stress, a lot of kind of personal issues that I was kind of sorting out in my head, and I definitely wasn't winning the battle with myself, and so I just kind of fell further into a hole, and, you know, finally just had to come to the realization that I had to make a change because it definitely was not changing by itself. And so, you know, I recommitted to getting back after it. And anyone that struggled with something like this, you know, it's not as simple as just saying, all right, well, I've had enough, you know, excuses, or I've had enough feeling sorry for myself or whatever, and now it's just time to crush it, right? You're sure you can say that stuff, but it's certainly not as easy as just saying that and then just doing it. So it's still a battle every day. You know, I'm recommitting to doing this show every week again. I may even start to reach out and have guests on, like the first maybe 30 or 40 episodes of this, and I think we're on number 128 right now. We're guests that I had some great conversation with some really great people, so I want to be heading back in that direction. I want to start talking to guys in the community, getting them on the show, just talking to real, regular dads about what's working for them, what's not, type of stuff. So today I wanted to talk about something that a lot of us go through at some point, and that's getting restarted, or even just getting started for the first time, maybe in 10, 15, 20 years. So this is for the guys that are really struggling. And, you know, looking back at a lot of the shows that I do and a lot of things I talk about, you know, I really try to cater my message to the guys that need it most. And in my opinion, those aren't the guys that are already crushing it. Those aren't the guys that just want a really cool or a kick-ass workout program or a really tough challenge. It's the guys that actually need help getting off the couch, figuring out what the fuck they're supposed to do with their diet and workouts, how they're supposed to do everything. And it's just, you know, as you know, it's extremely confusing and overwhelming because there's a limitless amount of information and just thousands and thousands of fitness, quote unquote, experts and gurus, and it's really difficult to know who to listen to, who knows what they're talking about. I mean, I've seen a lot of really savvy marketers sound like fitness experts when they're just nothing but marketers. They don't really know the first thing about how to coach people. And so anyway, today's show, I want to talk about getting started and just kind of touch on some of the basics. And hopefully, you know, you can listen to this. I actually have 7 things that I want to touch on. And if you are at a place right now where you want to do something, you know you need to do something, but you know there's just excuses and confusion, and it just causes you to do nothing. So this is where you're going to start. So listen to the show, and you know, if you have any specific questions about this stuff, always you can just reach out to me on social. My handle is at the Fit Dad Nation. I reply to all my DMs, so feel free to reach out anytime. Number 1, make sure that you have a reason or a why to start. So just waking up one day and saying, okay, I'm tired of being a fat ass. I'm just going to start today, right? And that, of course, can work, but it doesn't usually work for long. Instead, what I've seen is far more effective long-term, and we're in this for long-term. It's to have a solid emotional reason why you want to start, why you want to do this, why you want to change your lifestyle, because it's going to be a big change. It has to be emotionally driven, and I call it a why, a big why. So that's something that just, if you don't have that, it's just not going to come to you. You're not going to just be walking through the park and it's going to hit you. Believe me, I've tried that approach. I was looking for that for many, many years back, about 10 years ago. And so I would suggest doing some research, start digging, look into the things that you, gravitate towards, some of your hobbies, things that you would do if you just had, nothing but free time. How would you spend your time? Kind of look at the reasons and the things that drive you, and somewhere in there is a reason that you want to do this. It's not always as easy as, well, I want to be around for my kids. I mean, obviously that's a good reason, but that's not always why we do things. I've met a lot of men, and it doesn't make them selfish, that want to do it purely for aesthetic reasons. They want to look better. They're tired of looking like shit. They want to have better sex. They want to be more attractive to their wives. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a very strong why as well. But having that will keep you in the game, especially early on, okay, when it's not a habit. You feel like quitting. That is going to come. There are going to be times when you're just getting restarted or just getting started that you want to quit, that you want to go back into your shell. It's too hard. It's whatever, right? Excuse, right? Remembering the reason why that it's important to you to keep going is going to keep you in the game. And after all, that's what we're here for. This game is long-term. We're not here for the short term. Okay. Secondly, I tell you, make yourself accountable. We do everything in groups. Our challenges, sometimes we use teams, sometimes they're individual challenges, sometimes we use spreadsheets to track, but there's always a group atmosphere because it works. You're accountable to more than just yourself. A lot of guys, in my experience, have told me, I'm doing this so I don't let down my teammates. So they're doing the work because of their teammates. Otherwise, if they weren't accountable to their teammates or the guys in their group, they would quit. I can't overstate this enough. Find the people that you care about and they care about you, okay, and let them know this is what I'm going to do, right? I mean, put it on Facebook, right? Put yourself out there. When your ass is on the line, you're far more likely to stick with it. I've seen it time and time again. I've been doing this for 7 years as far as the Fit Dad Nation online, and groups work. Accountability groups work. Support groups work, right? We do new challenges every single month in the Fit Dad Nation Inner Circle. You can apply at fitdadnation.com/inner circle. You can find out more about what we do there, but it's incredibly successful when you're able to do that. So make sure you don't keep this to yourself, okay? Don't try to do this alone. Tell as many people as you can, especially people that actually care about your results. Most people, don't really give a shit whether you work out or not, but find those people, put yourself out there, right? Number 3, start where you're at, okay? Seriously, think about this. Start wherever. I don't care where you at. I don't care if you can't do anything. Okay, if you're just miserably weak, it does not matter. Okay, start where you're at, not where you want to be, where you used to be. Right? I mean, in all likelihood, you were in far better shape 15, 20 years ago. Your glory days, whether it was college, whatever. This is before life, kids, everything else happened. Okay, forget all that. Check your ego. Right? We're men. That's hard to do. Some of us have big egos and we want to do what we used to be able to do. Go right to the bench press your first session, throw in a bunch of weights. Oh, I used to be able to do 225 back in the day. Let me try 225. Boom, injury, you're done. Seen it a million times. Do not do that, okay? Start slow. It's so easy to overdo it after a long layoff. You end up getting hurt, right? Pulling a hammy, tweaking your shoulder, feeling your lower back, something like that happens. It puts you on the sidelines. You're done. Doesn't matter. Seriously, just I've gone through this personally many times where I've literally lost most of my strength, my cardio, and obviously I do this for a living, and I'm harder on myself, but I still know enough not to try to overdo it because I know what that leads to. Right? I've been injured too many times. So I start slow. I don't give a shit when people look at me and like, why is that dude lifting 10-pound weights? I don't care. You just got to block that shit out of your mind, right? You have to do you. Do it the right way. Do it slowly when you're just starting out. Take your time with it because the last thing you want is an injury. Number 4, realize that what you're doing does not have to be all or nothing, okay? It can be, right? Some people are wired that way. I personally do best with an all or none approach. Okay? I know if that I have one Oreo, I'll have 20. That's just how I am. I have this addictive personality. So I get them out of the house. I get everything out that I don't want to eat, and that way I'm not tempted. And, again, if that's you, great. If it's not, that's fine too. You don't have to do it. But just remember, the takeaway here is it doesn't have to be all or nothing, meaning you don't have to put your entire life on hold to make this happen. You want to integrate all of this into your life, not replace all the things you're doing and then be like overwhelmed with, oh my God, I have to totally change the way I eat and the way I cook, and it's going to mess with my family and me going out, and I can't barbecue anymore. Then I have to go to the gym every day. I don't have time, right? All those conversations start happening, and then you just say, you're done, right? You quit. This is why I don't work out. This is why I'm fat. I'm just going to, continue doing what I'm doing. Does not work. Just remember, guys, we're going to take this slow. We're going to take it one step at a time. If you are an all or none guy, by all means, get yourself ready for it. Jump in with both feet and get after it, right? If you're not, don't sweat it, okay? One small step at a time, that's fine. Number 5, simple is better. I beat this down everybody's throat here. Simple, 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 okay? You don't need supplements. You don't need a diet plan written out for you. You don't need a hardcore workout plan. You don't have to track your calories. You don't have to prep. You don't have to cook all day, right? You don't have to sacrifice. You don't have to be miserable in the name of trying to lose some weight. Make this as just insanely easy as possible. Okay, that is your goal. Simple, easy, you're going to stick with it, right? The more complicated you make it, or the more complicated you think it is, the more likely you are to quit. Okay, and again, this is all about consistency, okay? Consistency is the key to all of this, right? You don't have to go absolutely nuts on either end. You don't have to go crazy with your diet and just eat nothing but super, super healthy foods and train your ass off. Yes, you can do that, but you don't have to do that, okay? The key is just to be consistent, right? Clean up your diet. Hit the gym. Make some good choices. Start moving more, make some healthy lifestyle choices. But be consistent. You have to be consistent. There's a lot more talk on this now in social. Maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was a lot of just absolute bullshit. Not that there isn't now, but I'm seeing a lot more better advice as far as let's focus on the basics. Cover your sleep. Just the easy stuff like that. Simple is better, guys. Seriously, just simple is better. Okay. Number 6, I'll tell you, pay attention to the small things. Small things are, and they're not really small, but I'm just going to call them small. Stretching, your sleep, your quality and quantity, walking, moving more, stress management, right? Getting outside in the sun, natural, fresh air, okay? These are so important, such an important part of an overall just good health and wellness plan. I mean, just living a healthy life, you have to have some kind of quality of life stuff in there like that just is going to improve every part of your life, right? Really important for everybody, even more so as you start getting older. You really got to start focusing on things like mobility and stretching and getting enough rest and recuperation. Little things will add up. And again, not rocket science here, guys. Just make better choices, things that you need to do. Pay attention to them. And lastly, I'll tell you, when you're getting back into it, right, there's a million ways you could go about it. But like I said in the beginning, go slow. And I will tell you, make your focus on two things when it comes to training: strength training and mobility training. Two things that are at the forefront of all of my programs. Extremely important as you start getting into your late 30s, your 40s, and even 50s. Just starting out, guys, 3 days a week, a basic push-pull program. 30 minutes is plenty, okay? Get some stretching in there beforehand, dynamic stretching, some light mobility drills, some foam rolling, some band work, some mini band work, and then just a handful of push-pull exercises, basic stuff, compound lifts, squatting, lunging, stepping up, carries, pulls, presses, that kind of stuff. Again, we're not going heavy here, guys. Read your body, work within your limits for the time being, and moderate weight's fine. We're not going for 1 rep maxes. We're not doing that bullshit right now. That's it. Forget the HIIT program. Forget trying to kill yourself with sprints. We're going to start out with just 3 days a week of strength training, 30 minutes, a lot of mobility, a lot of walking. And we're just going to clean up your diet, right? We're going to clean up your diet. You're not going to go buck wild with anything in particular. You're just going to cut out most of the garbage you're eating. And if you just follow a simple 80-20 rule, 80% of the time you're eating high-quality, nutrient-dense foods, a lot of fruits and vegetables, lean meats, that kind of stuff. The other 20%, you can enjoy the things that you love. That way you feel like you're not sacrificing and you're like miserable because of it. Okay, that is definitely a demotivator for most people. Oh man, I can't have my beer. I can't have this. It doesn't work for a lot of people. So just, don't worry about going, like I said earlier, don't worry about going crazy with prepping and cooking, and just cut out the stuff that's hurting your progress. Stop eating like an asshole. You know that you're doing it. I do it a lot. And so your job is to just not eat like an asshole. At the end of the day, it really comes down to that. So these things I just was talking about here, guys, go through them, write them down, and just start there. Don't worry about anything else. There's a lot of stuff you could add to it. I could make this list 30 things long instead of, 7 or 8. But let's just keep it simple. Let's just get started. And if you need help, reach out to me. If you want to get some coaching, reach out to me. And again, check out the Inner Circle. We do a lot of awesome stuff in there. Guys are doing really well as far as their progress and being accountable to the other men in the group. fitdadnation.com/inner circle. I'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.